right, well, good afternoon, or let's see, if you are on Pacific time, you're still morning. For those that are watching this live, and happy summer, and for those that are watching on demand, welcome to you as well. Today we are going to be covering the RunSignup dashboard review, which I like to refer to as our central hub for race management. As an organizer who came over to RunSignup several years ago during the pandemic, prior to working here as a senior account manager, that was the one thing that I thought about the platform that really stuck out at me, was how intuitive it was. And I don't think that anything better exemplifies or represents that intuitiveness than the race dashboard. So I'm really excited to be presenting this to you guys today. So things that we're going to cover. First of all, how do you access your race dashboard? You might have some options there because you might have one race, you might have multiple races. It's sort of a 30,000-foot look we'll take a look at the anatomy of this dashboard, all the different components that are involved, as well as looking at all the dashboard graphs. We're going to do a deep dive into the overview, transactions, promotion, demographics, and registrations graphs. We'll do a demo because I think it'll feel a little bit redundant, but I think that helps me remember things as redundancy, as well as I think when you see the ease of use and the smoothness, as well as I'm sure we'll go into some more detail that's not covered in the slides, and we'll just help you with your navigation, and you can follow along as well while we're going on with your own race and your own dashboard. And then we're going to talk about how to take some action after you learn from what, after you're taking all these learnings from the dashboard. What do you do with it? How do we convert that into something that's useful and valuable? And then we'll open up to some questions if we have some time, which, by the way, some housekeeping. So here in GoToMeeting, we do have a questions panel, so go ahead and drop a question in there. Another account manager, a technical lead technical account manager, Elizabeth Delarova, will be answering your questions, and she'll come on at the end there if we have some that make sense for the group and if we have some time. So, all right, so first of all, how do you get to your dashboard? So there's a couple of ways, there's probably even more, but these are the two primary ways, right? So if you're on our website, runsignup.com, and you click on your profile image up at the right-hand side, if you don't have one uploaded, it might be just a gray silhouette. If you're not logged in, you may not see anything up there, and you need to log in first. So, but once you're logged in, you'll go to My Races, as this GIF is showing you right here, and you can either click on the drop-down arrow to the right of the event name, or just click right on the event name itself. And then if you're on your race website, so you're looking at the public-facing URL, click on your profile image up at the top again, and then click on Race Dashboard. And as you can see, this dashboard, all these analytics, you do not need to be in front of a PC or a Mac. You don't need to be at a desk doing this. You can be doing it on the fly in real time, seeing this data with your mobile device. So looking at it from once you first go into the dashboard, things that are going to jump out at you. First of all, obviously the event name, the date, the location, making sure that you're looking at the right event, right? You also notice a little drop-down arrow next to the event name, so you can toggle between different races that you are a race director on. So that helps you move quickly, especially if you're already looking at something, and then you can, you don't have to necessarily dig around for it. You just click on the drop-down, go to the next event. You'll see the race status, the current signups, which is cut off a little bit on that desktop version of the screenshot, but you can see it on the mobile. You'll see some default stats that are showing in the graph. So page views, signups, transactions, right? Those are some really key pieces of data that people, that the most of our customers really value and want to see sort of out of the gate. You'll see the different tabs that give you that more detailed data. So the overview, transactions, promotion, demographics, and registrations. You'll see source tracking, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. Charts, where we got some default ones, but you can add some of your own custom ones and configure them. And then I wanted to note here, what's neat about the dashboard is it's custom built for you. So obviously we've built some things, we put in some defaults, but you can customize this and it will save to your profile. So if you want to reorganize things, if you want to look at the data in a little bit of a different way than maybe another one of the race directors that has access to your race, another one of your team members, you can make this exactly how it's going to help you, And then they can do the same on their dashboard, and it's not going to conflict, and you're not going to have to force somebody into a certain view. So I think that's helpful when you're working across teams. And then I also wanted to note that the primary purpose of this, obviously, it's to be helpful, right? To provide value to you all and to help you in deciding, what your future actions are going to be to promote your race. But what it's not is a final financial reconciliation, right? So this is not something that you're going to want to be using to look at your final numbers, your final dollars that have been raised, transactions. So that's where you're going to go into your financial reports for this. And it's not because these aren't inaccurate, but there's a lot of parameters that are set to these that present it in a really helpful way, but don't necessarily match up in the way that the dollars and the final statistics need to be in order for you to match, with your accounting folks. So I just wanted to point that out. So now we're going to go through sort of the anatomy, like what does the body of this dashboard look like? So to start, there's the menu search up top, and so that's when you're going into sort of your overall back-end dashboard for your race. I don't know how many people use this. I rely on it because not because I forget where stuff is, but sometimes I just don't want to dig or hunt, right? So if I'm looking to set up a coupon, I'm just going to type the word in coupon. Or if I want to look at a referral report or set up referrals, I'm just going to type the word referral, and all the items in the menu are going to appear, so I'm not having to search around. Saves time. The home button, what I call. So this is, our dashboard, and this is the primary focus of today's discussion, which is our Race Insights dashboard. And that dashboard on your left side, your sidebar, is where it takes you back to the home or like the landing page for this dashboard. The registration breakdown, so right in the middle there, it's showing you, what your registration stats are. Oops, sorry, I went a little faster. Detail tabs. So we already talked through those, but we're gonna dig deeper in a little bit. Financial reports, I'm pointing this out so that, again, when you are going to finalize your budgets and reconcile with the money that's in your bank account, this is where you're going to want to go, not to your dashboard. Then the dashboard graphs, talked a little about that. The source tracking, and we're going to dig into that during the demo. Your charts, so again, there's some default ones here, but you can customize some of the parameters of them as well as add your own cards and charts. And then the participant quick search, which is very helpful. You don't have to go to the participant report, which is under participants, view participants. You can simply just type in a name, email address, or bib number up at the top right-hand corner and get to the person you're looking for to help them, get the info you need or manage their registration. And then the total signups up top, what are currently registered and active registrants. And then the visit website button, that is the public site link. So if you click on this, it will take you to exactly how it looks to the general public. And then help. Whenever we need, this is another thing that I loved about the platform when I first came over as a customer was seeing that button on every single page within the dashboard. So when I'm setting up, custom source codes, if I'm using email v2, if I click on that orange button, it's going to take me to an article that's related to what I'm actually trying to set up. And the analytics access. So this is where you can actually invite folks to come and have the ability to view the dashboard and what you're looking at, even if they're not a race director on the event. So if they're a race director, they're going to be seeing all of this anyway. But maybe there's certain folks that you want to be able to share the information with, but you don't necessarily want to give them access to make changes or to look at other pieces that that you want to protect. And then there's a couple customization buttons on here. I'm going to click on these during the demo to show you a little bit more about what they do. And then the last thing, right at the top there, the box that just popped up is showing the race status. And we're going to go into that in just a second here, or right now. So our race status, it's going to show us what is our current state. Too many platforms in the past, maybe, and I'm talking years ago and iterations ago, am I live? Can people see my site? Are registrations actually coming in? So this is a way for you to know that everything is kosher, everything's moving forward. So the different pieces, the race website. So this means that it is not in draft mode. It would show red if it was in draft. That it's not in private. If it was in private mode, it would show as yellow. So it's not private and it's not in draft, so we're at a green status. I also wanted to note before I go on, that all of these statuses are updated, and it says up there at the top of the screen, approximately every 30 minutes. So you may have put this into draft mode and you're still seeing that green there, or you might have put it a private mode and you're wondering why it didn't switch to yellow yet. So just let it work its magic to go ahead and refresh. Next, donations. So this will show you that you're actually taking in donations, that there's an active donation period. Timer, you've designated a timer through RunSignup, not necessarily somebody outside of the RunSignup timer community, but this tells you, all right, my timer's got access to my data, and they've got all the normal rights that a timer has and can do what they need to do to support our race. Registration, this is going to be green if all events that you've added in your race wizard and set up registration periods for, if these are all active and taking registrations, it will be green. Now, there may be times though where you might sell out your full marathon race, but you're still taking registrations for half marathon. So that light or that indicator is probably going to be yellow, or it will be yellow, because it will say, all right, well, marathon is closed, but these other events are open. If all of your events are closed and they're not taking registrations, it's going to show red. And then payments, that's going to show you that you are set up with an active payment account. You can see mine here, and then I can do a quick click on that. And then I wanted to note here, you see these hyperlinks kind of all over this screen. So we've tried to put in these convenience links. So if all right, well, I see my payments, and that reminds me, I'd love to take a look at the payment report and do some QuickBook reconciliation right now. That's why these convenient links are there for you. All right, so when we getting back to the dashboard, I love using this. It's probably the one thing I use most often, which is the data expansions, what I call them. So this is where you're taking your signups, and you see the arrow is pointing up right now. It was pointing down. So when I clicked on that, it then expanded over to the left side. And now I clicked on the down arrow and it expanded out my different events. So I can see my total signups across all events, the total registrations for each of these events. Then I get the year-over-year comparison. So you see the two columns next to this year, which is last year, and then the year before last. So I've got some great data to see how I'm trending. And then I wanted to point out these last two fields before you get down to the total dollar amount. And I use this a lot because I think that it is very reflective of how are we doing compared to last year. Not necessarily overall, but in the last 30 days, it's probably most top of mind, the ads that we've been placing, the events that we've gone to and handed out flyers, how we're promoting last 30 days. And so in this case, we've brought in 368 registrations, and in this time last year, in this 30-day period, we only brought in 230. So we're feeling pretty good about that. And then a really key one, with just however many days you have left until race day, which is that second line there, showing that we've already got 1,224 people registered. And at this time, with this many days before race day, we only had 676. So we're almost double where we were at the previous year. So that really tells me things are going well, we're doing things right. Now, if those numbers were flipped, that's when we would really want to have a hard conversation or a meaningful conversation as a team to figure out, how do we change that and reverse them? So now going into the dashboard graph, so that takes up most of the real estate on that race dashboard. And you can see here that you can change the date range. It's going to default to 7 days. The last 7 days, I have chosen just to show you a little bit more movement on the graph to be the last month, and that's selected in that drop down there. And then I can customize this view. You'll see that it defaults to show page views, signups, and transaction dollars. Keep in mind, that is only showing for the period that is designated in that date range drop down. Okay, so don't be alarmed if it's not showing your total amount, like, we have more money than that. It's just for that period. Also, the page views. That is going to be any view on any page on your RunSignup website. So it's not just visits to your page and then it stops tracking after that. So if somebody clicks on 3 different pages on your RunSignup race website, that is going to be 3 page views in that count in blue. So when I click on that customize button on the right there, I can also add some additional configuration, like adding donations if I want to see that pink line. Now, looking at transactions. So we've got some other or some additional parameters for dates. It's not by year, but I can do a start and an end date. And let me go back actually here. So you can see there's different lines showing the years, and this was a recent addition to our dashboard where it's showing what was the sale period for the previous years, and that's where those date ranges on the right are showing. And this view right here is showing the transaction amounts, the dollars. But when I click on the blue button at the bottom that says participant graphs, it's going to pop up and give me another table which shows me the number of registrations. So I think these are two really key dates and showing them compared to previous years. I like using the bar chart. That's why I indicated this, but I can toggle in between this and a line chart as well. So now we're moving to the next tab, which is promotion. We've got 3 different reports: loyalty, referrals, and coupons. You can see that I can select which year. We were trying to look at the data while it was being sold on the RunSignup platform. And then I have a few options to choose how I want it to be looking for loyalty. And if you don't know what loyalty means, that's looking for how many folks out there actually registered multiple times for the race. So it's counting them, and it's looking using that group participants by, depending on what data you're selecting. So do I want to search by just first name and last name, or do I also want to include the email on that? And when I click down here, there's a couple buttons. The one on the right, loyalty program, takes you to inside of the RunSignup dashboard where you can configure a loyalty program, which we won't go into depth today, but you can always reach out to your account manager or info@runsignup.com if you want to ask about that. But if you click on repeat participant report, excuse me, let me get back there, that's going to show you the actual names of people and the number of years that they have done the event or participated registered for the event. So I love these quick buttons and these links to just kind of let you dive in deeper and really get the information that you're looking for. So also on the promotion, then that second report is the referrals. And so you can designate which year you want to look at. And then you're taking a look at the ROI versus the number of referred registrations. And that ROI is always going to be in orange. And then the other data component, in this case, the number of referred registrations, is going to be in blue. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner too, it's going to show, this is really indicative of most referral programs that our organizers and race directors are doing on our platform, where, we got 38 referred registrants so far this year. That's brought in almost $2,500, and we've only had to refund somebody $20. I mean, that's, if you spend a Facebook ad for $20 and got 38 registrations out of it, I would call that a home run. And so I always refer to our referral program similarly that it is an absolute gem in terms of marketing, and it costs you virtually nothing. With our the promotion tab, our final report is the coupons. And so that circle chart on the left side, that's going to show you when you toggle back and forth between registrations and transactions, but it's going to show the total with coupons, total registrations with coupons, or total registration dollars with coupons, and those without. So in blue is going to be those with the coupons. And then when I look to the right, I can look at the different periods. Again, the ROI is going to be in orange, and then the coupons that were used are in blue. And moving to demographics, so I think this is some really great data to just kind of better understand your audience or your participants and who's coming to your event. So it's going to show the participant counts with all of these different reports, and you can report by age, gender, city, state, country, and then I call it a bonus report because it's just exciting and fun, but it's a participant heat map. So you can take a look at, on the US map, or really world map, where are folks going, where are the hot zones for where people are signing up. And you can toggle between years, and also you can either look at all of your registrants, or you can look by individual event. I also wanted to point out at the bottom left-hand corner, so there's a table there. So it depends on what you like to view in terms of your data. So we offer a couple different views, and then there's even on all of these an opportunity to drill down even deeper. So if you look at it's very small on the screen, I apologize, but it says show each age. So if I want to see how many 42-year-olds are registered for my race, I can do that. So again, just so much data, so much helpful information. And then we move to our final tab for the dashboard graphs, which is registration. And I think this is really helpful to understand sort of actions that people are taking and information that people are providing to you when they register for your race. So for example, we default immediately to giveaways. And I think that's a big one on our minds always. How many shirts do we order? How many have been ordered or requested? How is that matching up, right? And this is independent of the giveaway inventories, but this is great information to just take a look at. So you can set inventories to automatically control that, but this just gives you a quick view, a nice gut check of where you're at with those, as well as question responses. You can look at registrations by registration period, revenue by event, your imported registrants, what day of the week, what days of the week are the best for you. How, are most registrations coming in on a Tuesday? I learned on this race that it was actually Friday that the most came out, and the e-blasts that are going out for this race are usually on Tuesday. So that was interesting. The time of day, so when are most people signing up during the day? And that might provide you some valuable insight into when you should be sending out your e-blasts. And then finally, the registrations per day, and that's like spanning out over the actual date during the entire period. All right, and then again, you can show this by all events or by individual event. All right, so demo time. We are going to switch over here to this dashboard that I was taking these screenshots from, because I think this will feel maybe a little bit redundant to some of you, especially if you're familiar with it. But I think watching the flow of moving across this data and these different views and charts, as well as how it may unlock something that we haven't talked about yet. And one that I know I want to cover that we haven't yet is the source tracking. So here, we've got the menu search right here. We've got our race status. I just click on that and it brings up the box and shows my different components of that. I can click on view website and it's going to take me to my public site. I can click on signups and that's going to drop down my registration table, and then I can drill deeper and look at the events. And there's those awesome stats there for the last 30 days and 107 days remaining, how we're doing. All right, here I come here, and again, there's that awesome help button, and look, it's taking me to an article called Accessing Your Race Dashboard. So it knows I'm on that page, and it's giving me something to help me because I'm struggling. So, and the date range, again, it's defaulting to 7 days, but you can set this to 14 days, the last month, the last 90 days, or a custom date range, but only up to 90 days total. Obviously, you can get a comprehensive report on all your registrations and all of your money in your financial reports. But again, this is used to give you valuable information, insights into your data with these views so that that can help inform your future activities. I can customize here, again, to add some additional information like donations. And as I scroll down, we get to this awesome spot where it says source. So now, where are my registrations coming from, right? I'm putting these ads out, I'm sending emails, I'm going to events. Where are people coming in from? So when I click on referral, I can see what sites people are coming from. And obviously we have a standalone site, the Colorado Springs Marathon, and it's showing we're getting 929 views, page views from people coming from that site, and then 37 signups directly from that. But keep in mind, that is only for this last 7-day period. So this does not mean that I've only had 37 signups come from our primary website or our official website. It's just from the last 7 days. And this is interesting. You'll see some DuckDuckGo, we'll Race Place, Race Center, Longview Marathon. Haven't talked to them. So it's interesting to see. There's only one page view though, so maybe they were, something with the SEO or something with the way that the internet is tracking that is pulling that in. But I think if you look out and take the data, to a little bit additional days, you're going to see things look a little bit better from an aggregate viewpoint. Obviously, a lot coming from Facebook, running in the USA, directly from the RunSignup site, from the calendar listings. So all really helpful information. Then I just click on this hyperlink for all to get back to the other two options that I can search for sources. And here, email. And this is a recent addition as well, where we are pulling in email V2. So these are all emails that have been sent out over the last 90 days through email V2. And you can see what the page views and signups are looking like and how many dollars have come in from each. So we can obviously see at the top there, the medal reveal and giving a discount pairing those two together was a very effective way for us to motivate people to register. And when I click on all, and then I come down to custom. So these are the custom source codes that you can set up on RunSignup. And basically what you're doing is you're creating a unique URL that you can then pair with a specific marketing activity. So I'm going to run a national running day or global running day ad on Facebook, and I want to track the efficacy of just that ad. So I'll create a custom source code. It gives me a unique URL that's very specific just to that ad, and RunSignup is going to track every view, every sign up, and every transaction dollar that comes in from that ad and then shows me. So, you know, I had a lot of page views come in from that Facebook ad that we ran June 9th through the 16th, still running. Now, as I come down through here with the dashboard, and we're going to go back up and dig through these transaction or these race dashboard graph tabs. But as I come down here, I just want to show you these, we call these, you know, kind of these square cards here that are showing you registrations, transaction dollars, donation dollars, and then referrals. And so there are different ways that you can customize this. It's going to customize to just the past year. So that's going to look at, you know, basically 365 days from today back. And then the last year prior to that would be, you know, the next 365 days in the past. Now year to date is going to show us, you know, from January 1st, 2023 to June 15th, 2023, the day of today's webinar. That's going to show me I had 815 people come in, whereas last year that's going to show last year's to date at the same time, you know, on June 15th in 2022. Now when I press that customize button, I can see here that I can move some stuff around if I'd like to see it in a different order. I can also click edit for each one of these charts. And this chart type is actually all the different ones that you can do. So you'd actually completely change what chart is showing. But this is more important when we get down to adding charts. So I can call this something different, you know, like reg update or something that makes sense for our internal team. And then I've got some options to change the period. So when I come back here and I see, sorry, these were these cards right here. And then now these are some default ones. I did not create these. These are showing on for all of our races. So the registrations, number of registrations over the past 2 years, the gender breakdown, registrations for the past 2 years across the entire period, transaction dollars, donation dollars, and then this is a custom one that I made. So if I go into customize here, and this is where I was changing the order as well as editing some of the configuration there, I can add a chart. So this is that same drop down I was just showing you earlier. And in this case, I set up something for our referrals. But let's say I want to do a coupons quick card, okay? And I just want to see how we've done, let's say our team has started a really aggressive coupon campaign to see if that's going to move the needle, if that's going to motivate people. We're also going to look at, you know, how much are we giving away? How much money is being lost? But, you know, what is our return though? Are we bringing in more by giving away more? And then I can choose these different dates. I can say, you know, over the past, you know, 45 days, we've been doing a ton of coupon promotion. And then I can go ahead and add this chart, and it's just going to add down here for me. So I've got these nice things. Maybe I'm tracking because we were promoting referrals, you know, starting in March, and we hadn't done that before. And I just want to see how it's doing now since that date. So really helpful stuff. And again, as you customize this, this is just for your dashboard. So your team members that have access to this, they're going to see something totally different. Now, the thing that you just saw pop up, and there's a little help button here, you can actually, if you want to look and say, you know what, I want to look at kind of the fall period. So I'm going to click from, let's just even call it August. I know that's kind of the end of the summer, but I'm going to take it all the way down into kind of here. So I'm just clicking and dragging, and then it's going to bring me this table and show me, or this graph, and show me for just that period from August to December. So pretty cool how you can, and you can do it on these, any chart or any graph that is going to allow you to do that is going to have this info or this help message here. So really, really cool stuff. Now, as we get into these other tabs here, I click on transactions. Again, there's the dates. I can accumulate by year, the participant graph. So I was talking about showing you the barcode, or the barcode. I say that too many times. It's like on the tip of my tongue. Just showing it in a different format there with the bar graph or bar table. Then when I get to our promotion, I've got my 3 reports, the loyalty, referrals, and coupons. You can see I've got 30 people that came in at 4 times registering for the race. I can toggle between the different years that we were hosting RunSignup data or registration. And then there's where my group participants by are and the different criteria that I want to set. And then if I want to take a look at who are these folks, okay, so there's Andy and Bridget who came in at 4 registrations, so pretty cool. Let's see, then, whoops, let me get back to loyalty and go into referrals. So this is going to show me again, you know, this is for this year, but I can show some different data if I go back to last year. And we can see that 114 people came in from referral links, and we had over $6,000, and we only had to refund 20 bucks. Pretty awesome. Coupons, going to show me the ROI and the usage of those coupons. And I can toggle back and forth between transactions and registrations. Getting into the demographics, defaults to the age, but I can look at gender. I can look at the state. So that can give you quick views of where everybody's coming from, as well as country. Not so many right now, but we've got Israel, Kenya, and Peru representing. So shout out to them. The participant heat map, as you might expect, a lot of Colorado Springs people signing up for the Colorado Springs Marathon, but obviously Denver, hot, pretty much all along the front range here. But just kind of a cool little graphic to check out. And then on our registration tabs again, we've got all the giveaway options showing me how that's working. I can come down here and look at this table if I'd like, and then I can toggle to question responses. So I didn't have any questions that have responses. What that means though is I've got some where you can enter free text, and that's not going to track that because that would just be, you know, 1,229 different responses, right? But if you've got something like a drop down select or a yes or no question, then those will get tracked for question responses. Registration periods is a really helpful way to look and see, all right, when we first opened registration, going from October 22nd to the end of the year, how many marathon registrations did we sell during that period? What was our net revenue? So that's going to really, you know, kind of help define how do you maybe want to set your registration periods for the future year, or how are you doing this year compared to last year's registration periods. And then registration by event, so where are we pulling the most money in? Very clearly from our half marathon, which is our largest event by number of registrations. Are imported, we don't have any imports, so all of those are just ones that processed online. And then day of week, so again, there's that Friday that's showing really strong, and Tuesday and Sunday tied. Tuesday is normally when the e-blasts go out, so that's really interesting data for us. Then when I get to time of day, when are people coming in? Real high on that 8 to 10 a.m. Time period. So that's probably when we want to be having our communications getting posted like e-blasts. And if we had a second chance to kind of hit different people, we want to think about doing something, you know, and I think a lot of folks think maybe it's more like around 6 or 7, but this data would tell me that slightly more favorable to go a little bit later. And then registrations per day. So this is just going to show you completely through, and this might be helpful like when you launch registration or when you did a special promotion, and just kind of lays all that out for you. And again, I can break this down by all the different events if I'd like to. So that concludes sort of our demo portion. Let me get back to here though. What we wanted to go over too is, as I mentioned at the top, you know, what do you do with all this information? And I think what is really great about RunSignup's you know, development that we've done here is that we have built so many free tools for customers to use. As a reminder, especially if you're new to our platform, there are no subscription fees, there are no setup fees. You're paying nothing to be on the platform, and you have no commitment in terms of a contract. But in return, you're getting all this wonderful stuff that doesn't add to your budget line items. You know, you don't have to have marketing tools for RunSignup in your marketing section of your budget. You could just put 0. because again, these are all free. So you get a free website to host, and some folks that are doing their own websites on WordPress and you know, and they're hosting things and spending a lot of money every month on that. You could do away with that by hosting your website on RunSignup. Using Email V2, which is a very powerful tool that has drag and drop capabilities with design. We're adding more and more components all the time to make it as useful and visually pleasing and professional. And some groups are paying anywhere from $200 to $800 to the biggest races are doing $1,300, $1,500 a month just to host their contacts on something like MailChimp or Constant Contact. And you can host any number, you know, unlimited contacts and send unlimited emails as many times as you want a month for nothing on RunSignup. Automated emails, very cool tool where you can set up an automatic notification to go to somebody who has at least given an email address when they were trying to sign up but didn't complete the transaction, and you can give them a reminder, and you can set multiple intervals to remind them, like, hey, you were interested, we want you, please sign up, and by the way, here's a coupon code. We also have ones for registration follow-up. So if you want an email to go to somebody 10 days after, remind them, hey, here's your referral code. Don't forget to build your squad by joining or by inviting your friends and family to join you and join your group. So that's another great way to do it. And then price increases. You can send out automatically to your previous participants that are not already registered and remind them of a price increase that's coming up. And all of that can be automated, and you can set what that looks like and design it in advance. So it's nothing that you have to generate on your own that you can customize. Think about referrals. You know, people are paying attention to friends and family that are telling you know, the world on social media that they're going to this event, much more so than they are at something that looks like a paid ad. And again, the ROI on that and the cost to you is next to nothing. Reserved entries, so that's a great way to invite people that, especially if you're looking at your frequent registrants, your loyalty folks, sending them those to give them access to special pricing before the rest of the public gets to register, or especially if you're going to sell out certain events, giving them access to it in advance. Source tracking codes, which again, you can pair with specific ads or emails, tying your Facebook pixel and API conversion, as well as Google Analytics for ID, so that you can track that data from those sites. Social sharing, so customizing the image that's actually going to appear. That's indicated here in the middle where it says the small share image. So normally it just defaults to the logo. Make something super dynamic and put that in there, and that will break through that social media feed and be more appealing to folks. And then I want to point out, as you're looking through this data, if you're not meeting your goals, if you're seeing that you're falling behind in registrations, either in the number of registrations or dollars, think about, you know, if you have a nonprofit attached to it, what are you optimizing everything you can for donations and fundraising? Do you need to turn on team fundraising to build more of a sense of community and help people have a second goal to shoot for, not just their individual fundraising, but a team fundraising goal? And how is that customized? How does that look online on your RunSignup site so that it appeals to folks that are really tied to and interested in your cause? And then also think about participant insurance and turning that on. That is another incremental revenue piece where you are getting some of the share of the revenue that is pulled in from that. And the great part is that insurance it's an agreement between the person and the registration provider, or the participant and the registrant and the insurance provider. So that's not something that you're going to have to be managing and decide if somebody is worthy of insurance. That is handled by a third party. And then also registration add-ons and store items. Do you have old shirts that you want to get rid of that you can sell for $5 online, and it's a no-brainer that you just add it to your sheet or to your transaction? Or maybe you get something really generic that you can sell over many years and just always include that as an add-on in your race. Are there different store items? Maybe you want to sell VIP admission or special parking. So these are all pieces that you can sign up or configure and set up and RunSignup with very little work. And again, all of it's free, but it can move the needle as you're looking at your data and deciding how you want to mold your future marketing activities. and ultimately you reach your financial goals. So at this point, I hope that was helpful. And I want to open it up to see if there's any questions that we could bring to the group. Elizabeth, anything that you think would be helpful?
So we have a bunch of different types of questions. Are you up for answering a few more open-ended RunSignup related questions that are not necessarily dashboard specific?
We can definitely do that. Absolutely.
So one of them, I think this is important to touch on because we talked about it a lot, is how do we set up referrals?
How do you set up referrals, right? So there's actually a location, and since we're still sharing and I've got this up, we'll just go ahead and show you. So I'm going to type in using my menu search from my dashboard, right? Referral, and these are all the options that I have to show. I'm going to go to the promotion referral tracking setup. So it also shows you the path when you're searching for that, so you can try to find it later if you want to go that route. So all I have to do is just turn on referral tracking right here, and that gives the unique URL for everybody that registers. I can also turn on here the refunds and rewards, and as I scroll down by event, I can set up how many referrals they need to generate, how many registrations need to process with their referral link, how much money I'm going to give them back, and then do I want to establish some sort of registration balance, meaning that I want to at least collect some money from them. In my case, I don't. I just want to collect $0. And then I've got a second interval here, so you can just click on this button to add a refund, and you can copy these settings to all of your events within your race. So that is how you set up referrals.
And we got another question on referrals that I think will help kind of explain what this feature does for people who haven't heard about it before. But somebody asked, how does that referral code help someone that has already signed up and paid their fees?
How does it help someone who's already signed up and paid their fees? So the essence of this is to reward a participant with a refund for promoting your race. So it's a benefit to them in that if they share it on their social media or send an email out to all their friends and families or coworkers, people that are using that referral link to sign up, the credit is going to be tracked by RunSignup automatically. And when they reach one of these thresholds that you as a race organizer has set up, in this case, 5 registrations, RunSignup is automatically going to be refunding that $20 to the registrant. So the benefit is they get money. They get money back just for simply taking a referral link and dropping it into their social media feed.
Here's a good one. This comes up a lot, and I think it's important to talk about, and it is dashboard related. So somebody asked, my race date in my dashboard is showing my virtual race dates, not the actual in-person race date. How can I change that, or what is our recommendation for that?
Yes. So what we recommend is that you actually set the date of your virtual event to be the date of your live event. And I know that's not intuitive because you think, now wait a second though, if my race is on September 30th and I want them to be able to do the race from September 15th through the 30th, I got to show that date range, right? Well, you don't have to because you can use all of the other places in your RunSignup website to explain what that virtual period is. That's what people are really going to be looking for anyway. And then when you're configuring your virtual results options, you'll be able to set the date for which. So for example, I can just show you since we have it pulled up. We've got the virtual half marathon, so from 9:30 to 9:30, that's in my race wizard, so make sure that 9:30 is always shown as the date. But when I go into race day tools, virtual challenge results, configure virtual results, and I come into this first button, virtual results settings, you can see that I'm allowing submissions to start from the 23rd to the 30th. This is the critical piece right here that makes sure that the open period for virtual results is what you want it to be.
Someone asked, how do you get the dashboard to show the correct numbers for registrations and dollars on the main tiles? It seems to be based on the calendar year and not the year based on the event's date.
And that's fair. So there's not a great way to do that here. So when you're customizing this, again, there's different options where you can choose, the past 7 days, 30 days, or the past year. But all of this is going to be either the 365 days from the current date or showing the past year. So what you want to do, and what I think you want to look at, is going to the transactions and looking at this graph here. And you can also go ahead and just accumulate it, and then you hit this refresh button. So this is going to show you these periods of, from July 22nd, 2020 to September 26, 2020. That was the on sale period for the Colorado Springs Marathon. And you see this line down here. So this is how we can see how we're performing. And then you can do the same thing by going to the participant graphs.
This is another kind of general one. Can you provide some advice for coupons and discounts? I know not all can stack, so what are some beneficial discounts to offer, or like what's a good philosophy to have around discounts for your race?
It's a good question. I would say that first I'd want to, if I was advising a race, to look at their history to see what has worked in the past. Every community is a little bit different. If you're in Salt Lake City and you're talking about Pioneer Days, that won't make a whole lot of sense if you have a Pioneer Day special, but it's very important to that community. But I think that you want to make sure that it's motivating, meaning that it's a high enough threshold or a high enough reward that people will take action. So having something like a 5% discount doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But when you get into the 15, 20s, and even 25%, I think that's very effective. You'll read a lot online, and you can do your own Google searches whether percentages or dollar amounts are more effective. And I think some of that depends on where you're actually pricing your race. What is the normal cost, and then what are you bringing off of it, and so what does that bring it down to? So that's something to consider. I think whatever you do, you want to ensure that you're using all of the tools and resources you have available to message that out. Meaning, don't just send an e-blast with a sunny day special because it's the first sunny day in Richmond, Virginia that we've had in a week or something after some storms blew through, right? Or don't just have send an email out for your Cyber Monday deal. You want to be messaging that on social media. And again, you can use the custom source tracking codes to create specific URLs for each one of those avenues, or each one of those channels, to see which one is more effective. So you can still use the same coupon, but just use a different URL to track the efficacy of each channel. So I would say that making sure that it's not enough to just set the coupon. And again, there's so many theories and ideas about which coupons and discounts are best, but just make sure that you are communicating it in all ways, because people are going to come and see these in different ways. So it could be maybe you're doing flyers at some event, you're also doing an e-blast, you're doing social media, you're doing everything that could reach all the different types of people that are interested in your race.
Couple more. One person is asking about how do they set for their race. They want the age that they're collecting to be the participant's age at the end of the year. Like, where's the setting for that? I believe is their question.
So if you come into the race wizard, let's see, I believe we're at the events tab. Is this what you're talking about, Elizabeth, the age calculation?
Yep.
Yes. So that's in step 2 of the race wizard under events. So if you want their age to be calculated by the calendar year, not their birth date, then I would just type in 12/31/2023. So if somebody was turning 21 on October 1st, it would show them as 21 on race day the day before.
Yep. And then we just have one more question that I think would be helpful for today. This is kind of related to marketing. Somebody asked, how can I send an email to all of my past participants, but not the people who have already registered for this year? Is there a report for that, or what's the best way to do that?
Love it, because I get to show off email V2. Thank you.
I thought you'd like that.
Well, you were right. So under on the race dashboard on the left side, if you go to email V2 and click on send email, this top button here, select recipients. I'm going to click on this, and I can go ahead and filter this a little bit if I want to, because I mean, you can be reaching out to your fundraisers, your donors, your volunteers. I'm interested in participants in this particular question. So I'm going to click on that. And if I want to send out everything to, or an email to all last year's participants, I'm going to include that list, and then I'm going to exclude the current participants. So that's only going to go out to people that registered last year but have not registered yet this year. One thing that's cool that I want to point out to you is that you can use these advanced filters to show, and by clicking advanced event selection. So maybe I want to be messaging just the 5K people. Maybe I just want to be talking to the marathon people. And that might be important because you want to talk to these people at different times of the year. Typically your shorter distances are going to register closer to event date, whereas something like a marathon runner is going to need to register much sooner than that. So again, you could include those participants from the previous year, marathon people only, and then exclude the current participants. So it's only going to unregistered previous marathon registrants.
All right, we got one more that I think is a good ending question, so I'm going to ask it.
Okay.
What do you think is an underutilized tool in RunSignup that you haven't spoken about today yet?
Oh, that is a good one. Shoot. Can I cheat and look at my
Yeah, you can cheat. You've talked about a lot of things, so.
We have talked about a lot. Oh man.
You did mention social sharing to me earlier.
Yes, and I think I briefly touched on it, but I'll go there again because I didn't cover this piece. So under social sharing, I think we've got a way to go ahead and customize it. So right now the default is just refer your friends. And what this is getting at is when somebody completes their registration, their confirmation screen comes as well as a pop-up box, and it allows them to then share the fact that they've registered on social media. So you can customize what that message looks like. And then if you have referrals set up, you can customize the referral message as you're looking at right here. So what that helps you do is kind of get the right messaging, maybe something that sounds more urgent. Maybe it's something that, if you've got a themed race and you want to talk about, come on, you turkeys, get your flock together, if it's a turkey trot. So something that's a little more fun and specific to your race. And you can do that by event. So it doesn't have to just be at the race level. And there's all these different, pieces that you can customize. And then going and scrolling down here, I think it's really important if you're not doing this to add a custom image down here, because again, it defaults to your logo and your logo might be fabulous, but I don't know if logos really jump out at people and emotionally make them excited and motivated to do a race. But if they see, the fun energy of a start and like, I want to be that girl, I want to be that guy at the start line taking off in the shadow of Pikes Peak at the Colorado Springs Marathon, I think this, this definitely screams that more than our logo. So I think that's an underutilized one. Elizabeth, if you have a favorite, I would love to hear it. I'm going to keep scanning because I feel like I'm missing a big one. Maybe not a big one or a fun one.
There is the every RunSignup account manager's favorite page is the miscellaneous settings page. If you've never touched that page before, there's a lot of cool stuff on there that doesn't really have a home.
Right, it's like, yeah, it's kind of the misfit settings page, if you will. So on the miscellaneous settings page, there's a number of things to change. So if you want to be able to allow people to sign up for multiple events, so for instance, you have a 5K on a Friday night, but you have a half marathon on Saturday, this is where you would do it on this page. So allow registrants to sign up either for a customizable number of or just multiple events in a single transaction. Can they sign up for an event within your race multiple times? If you want to hide the dollar amount of any price changes, use a custom race date. I use this very often because I just like, especially if I've got a virtual option, if it's a hybrid, to change this. Let's see, where's some other hot ones on here? I think, yeah, hide processing fees from the race page and initial registration step. So, if that feels like it just elevates the price a little too much for some people, you can keep that until the very end in the cart. If you want to change the word, maybe you're using this not for a running race, or maybe this is just a charity walk and you'd rather use the word walk, it's going to then take anywhere where the word race is used on the platform and insert the word walk. Let's see, what are some other ones? What am I forgetting? Elizabeth, anything else you can think of that we love to turn on?
Well, it depends on the race, I guess. I always, the high participant survey is like always checked now, because I used to always be coming in here to do that. So you can thank me for that one.
Okay. I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is not necessarily a marketing feature, but well, it can be. So a really important email that goes out, right, is the one that is the registration confirmation. So under race, notifications, general settings. Under this second heading here in this grouping, race registrations, click on user registered. This is the big one. This is the one that goes out to all of your registrants after they sign up. So it's going to pull in data from your race wizard. These percentage signs are indicating that this is a data replacement tag or a data placeholder. And so it's bringing in the data from your race. But you can customize it. So you can add additional text. You could remind people to use their referral codes. You could tell them about some tricky parking because of construction that's going on this year. And then what I always recommend, as soon as you get your athlete guide done, and remember, you should be sending out using email V2 to all your current participants on Monday of race week, a digital athlete guide that tells them how to get to the event, when the race starts, when's packet pickup, all those really important details. Save your info team from having to answer too many emails by sending that out on Monday with all the details. And I know that people don't always read, but I guarantee you'll cut down your customer service big time. But and make that a live document on a website that you can update throughout the week if you find an error or something. And so you don't want to attach a document. You want to be able to, again, have that live. So you can link to it in here and put that in as soon as it's done, so that everybody who's getting their confirmation email is getting that athlete guide. And I promise that your customer service folks will love you for that.
I think that's it. We have a few unanswered questions in here. So one of us will reach out to you probably by email today or tomorrow to get those answered. But I think that's it for the group questions.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us today. I hope that you learned some things. Maybe you've used the dashboard before, but didn't know at least one or two things in there that could be helpful to you or your team members. But yeah, if you have questions, please reach out to your account manager or info@runsignup.com. And we will be sending out a recording of this webinar along with the slides. So that will check your emails for that. And if somebody signed up and wasn't able to attend, they're also going to receive that. So everybody will get a chance to review. So thanks everybody for joining us today, and hope you have a great rest of your week.
Okay, well, I think I see some new people to the channel, so thank you all for joining us. Brian and I are here to say goodbye and thank you for watching. So goodbye and thank you for watching. If you want to see more though, you can subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell and all, that way you get alerted when we post new videos. And if you'd like to click on the thumbs up button and let us know you enjoy this kind of content, we'd be very grateful for that, wouldn't we? You know it! Thanks, Brian. Always got my back.